Hi, welcome to this Excel tutorial video, and today we're going to look at functions. We're going to talk about what functions are, how we use functions, how you find functions, and I'm going to go through a few examples of the more basic functions and the more useful ones. So a function is a predefined set of instructions that will perform a particular task. As an example, in the previous video, I was showing you how to write formulas. So we can write a formula that says 1 plus 2, or we can write a formula that says this cell plus this cell. But what I want to do here is maybe have a function that will add all of those cells together. And what I don't want to have to do is to say equals that plus that plus that, etc., because that just takes too long. Now, there is a function that exists in Excel that will do exactly what we want it to do. And I'm going to use it now and show you how to use it. So in the same way as formulas, where to write a formula, you begin with an equals, you do the same with functions. So you put an equals, and then Excel thinks, okay, you are now either going to give me a formula or a function. So it is in kind of function mode, if you like. And if you start typing the name of a function, it will offer you a list of functions. In this case, beginning with S. If I type a U, it will reduce that list, filter it to functions that have got SU, begin with SU. And what I'm actually looking for is this one called sum. So I'll select that. And then it says, okay, I know that the sum function is the function used to add up cells. And I know, because I've used it before, that I can just grab a whole range of cells here. And when I'm done, I press enter. And that is my all the values added together. And I also know that if I use sum, I can say that, and I can comma separate a list of cells that I want to add up. So when you're writing a function, you've got to begin with an equals. You've got to write the function name, then you put a bracket, and then generally a function will expect at least one value. So when it comes to this function that adds up a list of cells or a range of cells, it makes sense that within the brackets it needs those cells, the cells that you want to add up. So if I use this as an example, you can see that each of them are comma separated. And if I look at this one as an example, it is a range. So you've got D2 colon D17. So it's all of the cells between D2 and D17 inclusive. So let's look now at finding functions. So if I click in this bar here and I do equals, in the same way that if I just typed it in the cell, I can now start typing and it kind of offers the same thing. But I've got this little FX button here, this insert function button. And if I press that, I get this little box pop up, and it's the insert function box. A lot of things you can do in here. So by default, you've got a list here that is filtered on the most recently used functions. If I click on the drop down, we've got a lot of types of functions. So the financial, you can see text, logical, statistical, there's all sorts of functions. I mean, lots and lots of functions. If you're unsure what function, what your function's called, so you want a particular function maybe to concatenate cells. So logically, I would imagine that's probably some in the text grouping. But if you're unsure, if you click on all, and if you delete the text in here, you can use this search box here. So if I type concat and I click go, it limits the list of functions to those that have either got concat in the name or have got concat in the description. And then you can see the difference between the three. You know, you've got these descriptions here that tell you what these functions are going to do. and if I get rid of that and I type sum, which is the one we're just using, you've got lots and lots and lots of options with regard to sums and kind of logical. You can do sums based on logic and criteria and that sort of thing. So if I were to, let me think, some functions will always want more than one value. So if you are adding up numbers, you're going to want more than one, otherwise there's no point in adding. You're going to want at least two or more. In the same way that maybe if you're looking for the average of something, so if we look at average in here, you're going to want a range of values. But in some cases, you'll only want one value. So let's imagine that what I want to do is I want to make my customer names uppercase. So I'm going to do a search for upper here, and I type go. Now I've got lots and lots again of returns. What I'm interested in is this top one here. And the reason I'm using this example is just because it's a nice easy example. So at the bottom here in bold, you've got how it is used, and then here you've got the like a description of it. So I want to use upper, so I'm going to click on upper, and then it says here in brackets, upper brackets, I expect a piece of text. Okay, so I'm going to click OK at that. It now brings you to this box here. So it has started to type upper in the formula bar here. Now it expects a bit of text. I could put some text in here. And you can see it's put some text in the brackets. In fact, really, as an example, what I should be doing is I should be doing it in lowercase. So I've got some text in brackets there. And if I click OK, you can see the result is uppercase some text. Now, if I just do that again, I want to use this again just as an example. So if I click on upper, and instead of typing text, I actually want a value, so I can click on A2. What you've now got this, you've got this formula result. So it says, as it is now, upper brackets A2 is going to return test customer 1 all in uppercase. That's what I want. If I click OK. Now you don't need to use this if you know what the function is called that you are looking for. Then you just type the function like we did with the sum. So I'll just type upper. I'll press the tab key to select the top option as I was typing upper, and I'll just put in there A2, enter, and it's brought that to screen. So the same with the formula. In the formula bar, it shows you the actual function, but in the cell, it shows you the result of that function. And there's lots and lots of different types of functions with regard to using text. So you can say maybe equals len, and as I type this here, you've got this description here that pops up, returns the number of characters in a text string, len, brackets, and then I will do A2 again, press enter, and it returns 15 because there were 15 characters. If I change that to be A3, it returns 7 because there's only 7 characters, including spaces and that sort of thing. And then you've also got something like average, and average in the same way as sum expects a list of numbers and it'll return the average value. And in the same way as sum, you could click multiple values, or you can say D2 colon D17, and the average value of that list is 412.84. And if you click in here, it's highlighted the whole range that is used in that function. And if I go back to my sum, this one, if I click in here, you can see in the same way as in the formula video that I did last, these are ever so slightly different coloured. So D14 is green, and you can kind of see it as you're looking down here. So it's a really, really intuitive, really helpful thing that Excel does with regard to colouring the cells as you, so you can kind of see exactly what you're referencing. So if you're getting results that you weren't expecting, you can click in the cell here and it'll say, well, we're looking at these 5 values. Are they correct? Maybe no, they're not. Actually, that should be D13. And then you can see D13's coloured green instead of 14. And then that'll change that value ever so slightly. that's the end of this tutorial on functions. Have a play, do some searching. Hopefully you found some things that were useful and new. Thanks a lot for your time. See you next time.